It's a orange juice.
Hey guys, this is Yarn from Orange Juice. I just want to say we really appreciate everyone who's helped subtitle our videos. You guys asked for it, so we made it. In this video, we discuss cards that are potentially positive elixir trades against the bomb tower. You have to take what you learn in this video to make real-time decisions based on what cards your opponent has, their card rotation, and how much elixir they have. It can seem hard to counter, but it's not all that bad. To counter the bomb tower, you need to become the bomb tower. A bomb tower is effective at countering low-cost decks. These can be commonly found below Legend Arena. This is why you don't see bomb towers very often in TV Royale. It's not particularly effective against the P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince combo. When you see a bomb tower, don't overreact. Sometimes it's better to just ignore the bomb tower. If you're a hut user, a barbarian hut is immediately a negative elixir trade. Goblin huts are fine, but only if you have a tank in front. On a related topic, the bomb tower is really good at countering hut spammers. You're going to see more hut spammers if it gets nerfed. If you're a hut user, it's going to be a little bit harder to win against the bomb tower opponent. If you don't have mortar or any of these other hard counters, try to focus to draw the game. These are the cards suited to counter the bomb tower. You can combine most of these cards to create a deadly combo. If you want to learn about specific cards, check out a description below for timestamps. The best card to counter a bomb tower is the mortar. When you see a bomb tower, you want just the edge of the mortar's radius to reach the bomb tower. It's a positive elixir trade. Most people panic and feel the need to eliminate the mortar. It's all psychological. Look at it from their perspective. It invokes an urgent desire to stop the mortar immediately. I've noticed some players end up overcommitting. This gives you an even larger positive elixir trade. If you use the mortar offensively and they plant the bomb tower to counter your mortar, that's already a positive elixir trade. Just move on and rush the other side. Funny enough, a bomb tower also counters a mortar. It has really high HP, so it's a great distraction while you take care of the mortar. You want the bomb tower to tank mortar shots in the kill zone. Hope that quick tip helps against certain mortar decks. Expo works too, but it's a little expensive. With the collector, you're gaining a passive elixir advantage while the bomb tower life depreciates. The 2 elixir advantage also allows you to engage the bomb tower a little more aggressively. If the bomb tower is 2 tiles from the river, small minions are the best counter. If you notice the bomb tower is planted on the right side, you can stagger the minions 1 tile diagonal from the bomb tower. The minions will fly right into that sweet dead zone. It's almost as strong as the Minion Horde. The game isn't 100% symmetrical, so the diagonal technique won't work if the bomb tower is planted on the left side. Most people aren't willing to arrow 3 minions, and if they fireball them, you'll make a positive elixir trade. Zap paired with minions are a really good combo because most opponents aren't willing to spend more than 2 elixir to counter 3 minions. I like to pre-select Zap for the fastest response. That was a positive elixir trade, plus their bomb tower is down and out of rotation. Minion Hordes are generally a bad idea. Arrows are almost in everyone's deck. If you know their arrows are out of rotation or you know they're sitting at 0 elixir, you can use Minion Horde to take out the bomb tower for an equal elixir trade. If you're really set on destroying their bomb tower and you can afford a slight negative elixir trade, you can shoot a Goblin Barrel to bait arrows. Then send in your Minion Horde across the river. This is a high risk move that can backfire if they have splash units. Dragon is one of the best cards to counter bomb tower, not because of its damage, but because of its flying capabilities and tankiness. If the bomb tower is planted 3 or less tiles from the river, the baby dragon can get in free shots from the bomb tower. This forces your opponent to kill the baby dragon or lose the bomb tower. If you notice their counter to your dragon is Minion Horde, you can gamble with pre-arrows. It's a high risk move, but the payout is also high. Zap is good if you notice their only anti-air are spear goblins. If they have a musketeer to counter your dragon, you can shoot a fireball at the bomb tower plus severely wound the musketeer. If they planted the musketeer poorly, you can clip the arena tower too. That's a positive elixir trade and damage done to the arena tower. One of the best ways to counter a bomb tower is to simply ignore it. You can bypass the bomb tower completely. This technique works on both sides as long as the bomb tower is 3 or more tiles away from the river. The Goblin Barrel complements the dragon very well because of this. Be mindful of the radius of the bomb tower. Shoot the barrel to the corner farthest from the bomb tower. On a side note, here's a nifty trick. If you shoot the Goblin Barrel into the far corner, it can potentially psych out your opponent. But don't attempt this trick against the bomb tower. If the bomb tower is planted 3 or more tiles from the river, you can bypass the bomb tower by planting the balloon on the edge. On the side where the bomb tower is only 2 tiles from the arena tower, you'll need to plant the balloon on the farthest edge, behind the rock. Now that you know you can bypass the tower with air units, you can pair up the balloon with a dragon. If you plant the dragon right behind the balloon, it'll give the balloon a turbo boost. Conversely, the balloon can act as a tank for the Goblin Barrel to shred away at the arena tower. The Hog is probably my favorite unit to counter the bomb tower. You can bypass the bomb tower with a pig push. If you haven't already, check out our video on how to perform a pig push. You can get fancy and throw in a Goblin Barrel for a double backdoor. A Prince is a really strong hard hitter and a decent tank. One-on-one, it's an equal elixir trade. It's effective to support the Prince with a ranged troop. Keep a slight distance so the bomb thrown at the Prince might splash onto them. If the bomb tower is 3 or more tiles from the river, you can actually bypass the tower. The side that's 3 tiles from the arena tower is vulnerable. I always hover my zap just in case. A killer strategy is the Prince Hog Combo. Performing a pig push with the Prince enables both rushes to bypass the bomb tower. If they don't have small units to pull your Prince, that's a killer double backdoor attack. Again, the Goblin Barrel is really useful. The Prince absorbs all the damage while the melee goblins help destroy the tower. Another method to counter a bomb tower is with a split push. Even though a barbarian's weakness is the bomb tower, you can push with a tank and deploy with barbarians in the other lane. If you catch them overcommitting in one lane, just push the other lane harder. Against the bomb tower, lightning is only worthwhile if you can hit 3 targets. For a rocket, you have to read the situation. Do you know your opponent's card rotation? Is the bomb tower their only hard counter to your deck? Have you been making enough positive elixir trades to afford to launch a rocket? If you have no clue, it might not be a good idea to rocket the bomb tower. You're choosing to attack it with a negative elixir trade. An exception is if you have a rocket spam deck. Then the bomb tower means nothing to you. Just go ahead and rocket the arena tower. A tank essentially negates the primary splash function of the bomb tower. You can brute force push with a tank and support. Make sure to space out your support or the bomb aimed at the giant will splash onto the support. The P.E.K.K.A and Golem are especially good tanks against the bomb tower because they're so slow. By the time my Golem reached the bomb tower, the life timer already depreciated in half. If you're fortunate enough to have a princess card, she's also a good counter against the bomb tower. If your opponent arrows the princess, it's an equal elixir trade, but she'll have shot the tower at least once. That's a positive trade as long as she isn't your only unit that can handle swarm cards. Thanks for watching, make sure to check out our Twitter for more quality OJ.